Donald Trump's presidency has turned into one humiliation after another, but this latest one hits even closer to home because it's coming from Melania Trump herself, if we're all still pretending that's a normal marriage. Her new announcement lands right as Trump is flailing on foreign policy, buried under his failures and criminal scandals. We're going to break down what Melania said and why it's so embarrassing and devastating for him. Before we get into the details of her announcement and how it twists the knife, let's start with some crucial context. Trump's own special envoy, Steve Witt, has been caught coaching Russians on how to manipulate Donald Trump. And understanding this connection is key to understanding Melania's move. Here's what Trump had to say in response to that story.
They're losing too many people.
Have you heard this audio that Bloomberg has of Witkoff coaching the Russians on how to appeal to you?
Well, I haven't heard it, no, but that's a standard thing, because he's got to sell this to Ukraine. He's got to sell Ukraine to Russia. That's what a deal maker does. You got to say, look, they want this. You got to convince them with this. That's a very standard form of negotiation. I haven't heard it, but I heard it was standard negotiation. And I would imagine he's saying the same thing to Ukraine, because each party has to give and take.
So you're worried that he's too pro-Russian?
It's no shock at all that Donald Trump has zero issue with Witkoff coaching the Russians on how to manipulate him. First, the obvious. Trump has always been Putin's puppet. But second, Trump has poured most of his presidency into foreign policy. Not to actually solve foreign policy problems, but because it's the easiest way for him to get what he craves most: flattery. He loves the pageantry. He loves when foreign leaders throw him a parade, slap a crown on his head, hand him a Big Mac, smile, and tell him, good job. That fake sense of legitimacy is everything to a man who is frankly a complete buffoon. So of course he's thrilled at the idea of Russians learning exactly how to praise him and stroke his ego. But Republicans, they're not thrilled about this at all, especially not about Putin's bogus peace plan that Trump has been embracing. And Senator Mark Kelly is furious as well.
Get to you on Ukraine because there's so much happening, and I know you're such a big supporter of Ukraine. There are three prominent U.S. senators who have gone on the record now, including Republican Mike Rounds, who said yesterday Secretary of State Rubio told them he was unaware of a threat to cut off U.S. support to Ukraine if they don't accept this proposed plan that's on the table. Here is how Senator Rounds described it.
What he told us was that this was not the American proposal. This was a proposal which was received by someone who has identified and they believe to be representing Russia in this proposal. It was given to Mr. Witkoff.
So since those remarks were made and backed up by multiple senators, I've received phone calls from senior White House officials, from senior U.S. officials saying, no, that's not at all what Secretary Rubio said. What version of events do we believe here in terms of what America is putting forward?
Margaret, they've got to clear this up. You have Rubio's talking to my Senate colleagues saying one thing, the spokesperson for the State Department saying another. Your conversations with the White House contradict what the Secretary of State and, by the way, the National Security Advisor, same guy, has said about this. They've got to figure this out and get the message out and explain to the American people what's going on. I will say this, that plan, that's Putin's plan. That is a very good deal for Russia. It is a horrible deal for Ukraine, for our allies, and even for our own national security. If Putin gets the chance with that deal to, rearm, rebuild his economy, and gained territory, by the way, that's what he wanted. Well, then the Baltics, Poland, Romania, all those other countries down the line are at threat.
Well, it is unsurprising that Donald Trump is taking his points from Putin. When this story broke, I was not shocked. As always, I'm disgusted, but that's kind of the theme of this Trump administration. But it wasn't just those Senate Republicans. We saw Representative Don Bacon, a congressman from Nebraska, say that he considered resigning after this story was made public. So it has been a disaster for Donald Trump, a complete embarrassment that the issue he said he'd be solving on day one has seen many days pass since he's been unable to solve it, and it just seems like he doesn't want to at this point. Just the other day, he said he had no idea what was going on, which is pretty funny considering the announcement Melania just made. Melania sucks up to Putin after he humiliates her husband. Melania Trump praised Russian President Vladimir Putin's leadership on child reunifications, even as Donald Trump's latest peace push fell apart in spectacular fashion. The First Lady issued a White House statement on Thursday announcing that 7 Ukrainian children, 6 boys, and 1 girl taken during Russia's invasion have been returned to their families after quiet talks with Moscow. Melania praised Russia's leadership and persistent diplomacy, adding that her dedication to guaranteeing the safe return of children to their families in the region is unwavering. I commend the leadership and persistent diplomacy of Russia and Ukraine in the pursuit of reunification of children and families. She said their bridge building has created a tangible collaborative environment, an anchor for optimism. This cooperation will continue to drive the process forward through the next phase. Melania's upbeat tone came hours after Trump, 79 and collapsing, mind you, told reporters, "I don't know what the Kremlin is doing." His startling admission came days after U.S. Special Envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner briefed him on a reasonably good meeting with Putin that still produced no deal. On Wednesday, the peace effort was left in tatters, with key U.S. ally British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer saying everyone knew Putin wasn't serious about negotiations. So now Melania is essentially saying that Putin is doing a fantastic job, an incredible leader who keeps embarrassing her husband on the world stage. And somehow, Melania is the only person in Trump's orbit who has managed to get actual concessions out of Putin. I don't usually hand out praise to Melania Trump, but her effort to reunite children with their families is genuinely important and absolutely commendable. Still, given how supportive she is of this initiative, maybe she should look a little closer to home and talk to Donald about America's own family separation policies. The hypocrisy here is wild. Trump is the one who put kids in cages. Trump is the one deporting college students heading home for the holidays to countries they've never even been to. That is family separation. Trump has torn countless families apart with thoughtless, cruel deportations, so maybe Melania should start that conversation, especially considering her own smooth pathway into this country. Now, I don't want to linger too long on Melania because the bigger story here is Donald Trump openly admitting he has no idea what's going on. His brain is checked out. He has no interest in peace, and the guy who didn't even write The Art of the Deal yet calls it his masterpiece was never going to be good at real diplomacy. But the level of public humiliation he keeps walking into is astonishing. And in this moment, when the MAGA coalition is splintering, it is more important than ever to keep the pressure on. Because whether it's foreign policy failures, domestic collapse, Pete Hegseth's war crimes cover-up, or the Epstein files, MAGA is falling apart. They all know Trump is not the future. And that's exactly what Trump is panicking over now. He has no leverage, whether it's with MAGA Republicans in Congress or with Vladimir Putin, who apparently is being coached on how to manipulate him. All Trump shows is weakness. He's deteriorating. He's a lame duck. No one believes he still holds real power. Trump has lost his grip on reality a long time ago, but now He's losing his grip on power day by day, and he knows it. That's one of the biggest reasons the Epstein files haunt him. The new photos and footage aren't explosive on their own, but they're deeply disturbing, and they signal there's more to come. The Epstein estate has cooperated so far, and it seems like they'll keep doing so. Trump can't stop that. He can't block it. And Representative Robert Garcia is pushing for even more transparency, as he explained to Chris Hayes.
Past behavior does not give me any confidence in them actually releasing anything. They've set up this kind of shell investigation out of the Southern District of New York, which we know they may try to use to hide documents or to not release documents because they're in another investigation. The fact is this: Donald Trump can release all of the documents right now. He's had the power to release them from day one of his presidency, which he promised to do so and has yet failed to do. There are women out there right now who are being re-traumatized every single day and need justice and closure. They should release the files immediately, and let's hold all the powerful men that did harm accountable.
Robert Garcia has truly been an outstanding leader in this fight. His work shows exactly what happens when you put young, energized, and determined Democrats in charge of their committees. They actually get things done. Having Robert Garcia serve as the ranking member on oversight has been one of the biggest success stories we've had during our time in the House minority this Congress. His efforts have been remarkable. I'm glad we were able to feature the congressman on the show yesterday, and we'll definitely continue to do so. And if you want to stay tuned for more updates, as always, make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.